Hello everyone and welcome back to Gran Turismo 7 for another 2 rounds of Trans Am XL. This is the 4th season of Trans Am, rounds 3 and 4, and for the first time we're going to be doing a one make race in the series, and the car of choice will be the Chevy Nova, the 1967 Chevy Nova, modified by Chris Holstrom, and it was a SEMA Gran Turismo award-winning car, hence why it's in the game as a very much custom-tuned car, not the stock Chevy Nova. So because of that, it is actually quite quick, even under the BOP settings that we're using for this event. So yeah, this will be very interesting to see how this goes. We are all in identical cars now for this one for the first time in a Trans Am. So let us see how things go. We're at Watkins Glen for this round, and this is a circuit I'm fairly well familiar with back from watching NASCAR back in the day, so got no excuses, unlike the next round, which we'll get to. But anyway, as we work our way around the lap, coming together all right so far, as we round our way through this long sweeping right hander that just seems to never end, and we get through there fairly cleanly. We really only have one chance to get a lap in this session, so we just need to make sure we get this time in without any track limits violations, especially through these last couple of corners where it will invalidate the lap because we're past the penalty line rather. But anyway, we come up towards the timing line now, and we set a time good enough for 6th position. Unfortunately only 7 of us here for these 2 rounds, and yeah, we're last out of those setting times because Ferbs, of course, will be starting from the back as always. And yeah, that was the end of the session. We tried for another lap but ran out of time, so that was qualifying done. And yeah, that is the best we could do. But yeah, P6 just in behind J-Dog. Pole position, of course, goes to John Teeter, so no surprises there. But yeah, I feel like I can go a little bit better than what I did then. I don't know if I've got another few seconds to keep up with J-Dog, but we'll see how it goes. But yeah, without further ado then, let us get into the race. It's going to be a very interesting one to see how this plays out. The first one make race in Trans Am history, and at a circuit I think we're all quite familiar with here. So yeah, the tyre requirements, we've got both softs and mediums required. So despite the fact this will be a relatively short race, just 12 laps here, we will need to make a pit stop, which will definitely mix up the strategy. So yeah, let's get into it and see how it goes, and we'll see how we all line up on the grid for this one. Starting on pole position, it is John Teeter, and Teeter will be starting on the soft compound tyres. P2 will be Banana Notto on the mediums. Soft tyres for Sparrow starting out of 3rd position, and then it will be the mediums for Jester starting out of P4. Also medium tyres for J-Dog in 5th position, and then myself starting out of P6 on the sports soft compound tyres. And I've got a Greek Gods inspired livery for this round. I've got them all named somewhere on the car, as well as a few other Greeky things tuned by the gods on the back. Let's hope that is true. And that is Ferbs starting off at the back of the grid, starting on the medium compound tyres. So let's go to the 5 red lights, and it's lights out and away we go for the 3rd round of Trans Am XL. J-Dog's all over the place on the start, as we've got a pretty good launch off the line as we race our way down to turn 1 to the outside of Jester. We're going to back out of that one, see if we can tuck it into the inside, get a good run on the exit. Jester and Banana Notto out wide as they're going to go side by side into the S section. And oh, Jester's gone! Into the wall goes Jester. And we've got a good run on Banana Notto now as we head up through this right-hander. And we're just rattling on the left rear corner, but we can't quite get the run. Banana Notto holds on and we drop into 4th position. But Jester stacked it in a big way there at just the 2nd corner in this race. So that's very unfortunate for Jester. Thankfully for this race, damage is actually on weak, meaning it will repair itself on track after a short time, so you won't have to make a pit stop to get the damage fixed. Otherwise that would be day done for Jester for sure. And we'll have a little look at a replay of the start. Here is J-Dog not getting away well and getting a little bit of a helping hand from Ferbs there, but Ferbs gets through. J-Dog drops into last position, so that's unfortunate for J-Dog, and that's not really how you want to be getting the race started. Here is the onboard with J-Dog, and it's hard to tell exactly what happened with a little bit of lag there, but either he jumped the start and got a penalty. What makes me think that is it was very slow for a moment after that, or potentially just was had a very bad reaction time, or could have just been a ton of wheel spin. Hard to say exactly what that was, but regardless, the result was an awkward bit of contact between J-Dog and Ferbs. Ferbs gets through though up into P6. J-Dog drops into last position as we will get Ferbs' angle of the moment Jester had. And whoa, my goodness, that was close for both Ferbs and J-Dog there. And we'll need to see probably J-Dog's on board with that. Here we go. My goodness, that was close. I have not seen a moment like that since RT back at Daytona in Season 2. Splitting the gap between myself and Heafy in the closing laps there. But yeah, that was almightily close for Jester between Ferbs and J-Dog there. Almost wiped out both of them, but managed to pick the gap and carry on with the race reasonably quickly without losing too much time. But there's another angle of it, and that was so close. J-Dog had to take a bit of avoiding action there. Here's the onboard with Jester off the start, and we'll see the full picture of how it played out from Jester's perspective into the first corner. Relatively cautious, not doing anything crazy here. Run it out pretty wide over the exit curve, so did Banana Notto in front. They got the run down the inside into the right-hander, and then just, yeah, too much power down. And oh my goodness, that is millimeters away from disaster. But they got away with it, all three of them, in that situation, and got away with not having a much worse accident there. So Jester carries on, and we'll probably try to catch up as soon as possible. But anyway, end of the first lap, beginning of lap 2. Banana Notto goes deep into turn 1. That might give us the opportunity to take that position as we're alongside on the exit. Got the inside line for the first of the SE corners here in the first sector, and we're out into the wall as that was a little bit awkward to try and get through there side by side. Might have been a bit of slight contact between us. We definitely made contact with the wall. Banana Notto gets through back around the outside. Ferbs getting involved now as well, but Ferbs backs out of it as we head into the chicane in front. But it's not going to be too long before Ferbs tries to make the move again, as we're all out of shape here into the long sweeping right-hander. Try and get it back for a late apex, as we're a little bit out of shape there, but we got away with it, and we'll carry on still in 4th position in this race. Here's the replay. Banana Notto just going a bit deep, missing the apex, and Ferbs is already there looking for a way through on the both of us. And then yeah, we would try to keep it tight on the inside line and just to give Banana Notto as much room as possible. Then we just made a bit of contact, which sent us out into the wall. Banana Notto was able to get the run around the outside. Ferbs almost stuck the nose in on the inside there, ended up going for the outside as we gave him a little bit of a squeeze, but not too bad. And then yeah, we were able to maintain that position. But good racing there and we will carry on with no issue. So as we continue to race on, we again maintain 4th position into the first corner as we start thinking about Ferbs. He's down the inside and should probably get the move done here as we race side by side through the S section again. No contact through the left-hander this time, and Ferbs gets through nice and cleanly there. And now we have to start worrying about J-Dog, who's catching up. But yeah, here's another look at that. Ferbs just got a great run on the exit. Potentially burning a little bit more fuel there, I'm not sure, but had a lot of speed to use there. And then a great side-by-side battle through the corners, and Ferbs got through. I'm basically running this entire race in map 6 to shorten the pit stop as much as possible, but there's a few different theories around how you do that. You can burn a bit more fuel, stop for a bit longer, but be faster later on. It's yeah, a tricky balancing act as J-Dog sends it through the chicane, and yeah, we're going to have to start watching out for J-Dog very soon as we have a big moment through the right-hand sweeper there. But we'll maintain the position ahead of J-Dog for now, but that was a little bit of a drift, and a few replays in this race, but there it is, off board, just keeping that nice and wide through there, and not getting near anything that resembles an apex. J-Dog was out wide as well, and as we continue on, Jester is starting to come back into this battle as well, sends it up the inside of J-Dog, who leaves it high and wide through the sweeper, and Jester gets through on J-Dog, and J-Dog has a penalty to serve there anyway, so that's Jester starting to come back into it here as Banana Otto's out very wide, and we'll actually bring it into the pit lane now. But big moment there for Banana Otto, and yeah, now it brings it into the lane for a new set of tyres. I believe Banana Otto started on the soft compound tyres, sorry, mediums for Banana Otto, and going onto the softs now, as we also see Sparrow come into the lane just after that, and Sparrow started on the softs. We'll be moving on to the medium compound now. The softs really only good for half the race, so you might as well sort of split the race 50-50, you know, within a lap or so of that, as Ferbs is in the lane as well. So everyone's cycling through, getting their tyre stops out of the way. Ferbs started on the mediums, will be going on to softs for the rest of the race, so it'll be nice and quick. We started on the softs. I tried to stretch them an extra lap to lap 7 as Jester gets down the inside, as we're all out of shape on the exit of the chicane, and there's a chorus of horns as Jester and myself beeping away through the final sector, or just before the final sector, and yeah, we will be coming into the pits now to get rid of these soft compound tyres that have done their best for 7 laps, but they're completely worn out now, especially that front left is absolutely dead. So we'll follow Jester into the pits, which was definitely beneficial for me because I had no idea how to handle that pit entry until just now. But anyway, we have some fuel to put in, but not too much, as we'll have a look at Jester's stop as well. And Jester started on the medium compound tyres. We'll be moving on to the softs, and J-Dog is also in the pit lane with us. J-Dog started on the mediums. We'll be moving on to the softs, so I'm going to be a little bit out of sync with these two on the mediums while they'll be catching up on the softs later on, so that could make things a little bit tricky, but because we've been using fuel map 6 the whole time, we're actually going to be first out of pit lane, so we will have track position on our side, but yeah, we'll have the medium tyres on, and the medium tyres, just generally speaking, have never suited me that well anyway. I feel like I can really only get the most out of the soft tyres, so this could be a very difficult stint. Banana Otto gets around us, and we have a bit of a moment over the grass there. The car actually turned in a lot better than I was expecting, so we ended up cutting that corner. But yeah, that's given us a little penalty, but that probably won't have any major impact on the rest of our race. Meanwhile, out in front, John Teeter just doing John Teeter things, leading the way, but Teeter comes into the pits, and it'll be another set, or a new set of tyres on for John Teeter. It'll be the medium tyres going on Teeter, starting on the softs from pole position, and has been able to escape up the road so far. But Teeter actually comes out of pits in the race lead, so might go unchallenged in this one. Then a Sparrow, followed by Banana Otto. So Sparrow doing a great job in this race. And then myself ahead of Ferbs at the moment, as Ferbs is now looking to make that move. Ferbs now on the soft tyres, so we have no real chance to hold him off there. And Ferbs gets the move done. And pretty soon we'll be under pressure from Jester as well, who is also on the soft tyres. So yeah, unfortunately, despite starting on the faster tyres and having a shorter stop, the track position now is slipping away from us very quickly as Jester makes the move all the way around the outside. Great stuff from Jester there, commitment to get that one done on the grip limit, and we left him the room to cleanly make that move. And we had a great little battle through there, but Jester's well clear now and can go chasing after more positions up the road. We're down into second last position now. J-Dog seems to have disappeared off the radar, and here he is, speaking of J-Dog, pulling off the road and onto the I Heart NY sign there. So yeah, J-Dog just going to take up a spectator role in this race as the field come through, and there goes Sparrow in second position, and the rest of us all coming through. Banana Otto, Ferbs you get a bit of an idea of the gaps at the moment, followed by Jester and myself eventually there a little bit further back. So yeah, here's the view from down at ground level on board with J-Dog, and just getting a nice view of the action here at turn 1, bringing out a yellow flag, which is a little bit of a distraction, but anyway, we continue to watch on. Sparrow is under fire from Banana Otto, and Banana Otto gets through, moves up into second position in this race, and now Sparrow might be under threat from Ferbs as well. So we'll see if Ferbs can do anything here in the final few corners. There's not much time to go left in this race now, as we round the final corner with Sparrow, and Sparrow out a little bit wide there, and that might attract a penalty. It can happen at that final corner, but looks like Sparrow got away with it on this occasion. But yeah, you do have to be a little bit careful at that final corner. And Sparrow's out wide there again, so on the medium compound tyres now Sparrow is pushing limits, and there is a penalty for Sparrow. So with Ferbs right behind, that could prove costly, as we see Jester a ways off the back of this field, unfortunately, and myself even further behind. But as we see J-Dog throwing the car all over the place, everywhere except the track for J-Dog at the moment. But we'll now look to John Teeter as John Teeter rounds the final corner. It's another Trans Am win for John Teeter at Watkins Glen, the first BOP race in the Chevy Novas. John Teeter takes victory, and it is absolute domination for John Teeter. Amazing race, miles ahead of everyone else. Round the final corner now comes Banana Otto, and here comes Sparrow as well. So Banana Otto will take P2, Sparrow P3, a bit wide out of the final corner. There's a penalty for Sparrow, and that switches the positions. Ferbs into P3, Sparrow P4, Jester will come across the line for P5, and then we'll eventually make our way around, not too far off the main pack to be fair, and it'll be P6 for us in this race. And would have been interesting to see what J-Dog could have done on those soft tyres, but anyway, what's done is done. as we conclude the third round of the championship here at Watkins Glen. Definitely definitely a very exciting race. I really enjoyed that one. A lot of great racing between myself and Jester, Ferbs as well. Bananonotto had a few good battles through the first sector. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. But anyway, there are the results. Race win, pole position for John Teeter. Ferbs actually got the fastest lap, so a bonus point there for Furby. But anyway, we move on to round 4 now, and this one I do not have such high hopes for. We are at the Streets of Willow regular Trans Am rules for this one, so we're all in different cars once more. But yeah, we're at Willow Springs, the Streets of Willow layout, and I mean, this is basically just an oversized go-kart track. You really can compare this to Monaco, but with sand instead of barriers, which honestly is worse in some situations. This corner here, you really do not want to go off the road. I'm still in the Chevy Nova because it was the car I felt most comfortable in. I did a lot of work tuning this car, trying to get it to turn basically, because I was struggling with a lot of understeer, and I did get it a little bit better towards the end, which is what ultimately led me to choose this car for this race. Same livery for myself in this one, but of course everyone else choosing different cars. We'll see theirs on the starting grid. But anyway, as we round the final corner of this very narrow and compact layout here at the Streets of Willow, we'll get our flying lap underway. But unfortunately, we got a little bit of traffic in the form of Sparrow catching up to us, so we let Sparrow go through, and we carry on once more, and we'll have to make our second lap count in this one. I actually also wanted to turn on these corner markers, which are a little bit helpful around here. I don't really rely on any specific one of these visual driving aids, but I use them a lot, I guess, for guidance, I suppose, would be the best way to describe it. They just help with sort of picking out reference points, even if I don't follow them exactly. I sort of know where, relative to where they all are, where I should start, braking and turning and stuff. But yeah, it'd be very tricky without all these things. To help, especially at a track like this, which has some markers, but because it's such a fast-paced layout, you just have corner after corner after corner with very little break in between. In some sections, it's quite difficult to sort of keep up with everything. But anyway, I'll stop rambling about all that, because we are in the midst of our qualifying lap, as we're into the second half of the lap now. We'll see if we can get through here cleanly. This is probably the part I struggle with the most, this second half of the lap, but we're getting through okay for now. To be honest, if I can just get a clean lap in without going off the road, that'll be as good as pole position, because I was struggling with this layout massively, probably more than any other circuit in Trans Am history. So yeah, I'm just hoping to have a clean race and not get in anyone's way too much. But anyway, as we cross the line, we do actually get a clean lap in, and yeah, to be honest, that's a time I'm pretty happy with. I was basically aiming to get under a minute 20 if I could do that, and if I can do consistent clean laps in the race, I'll be pretty happy with this weekend. But in terms of a result, I'm not expecting anything at all, so we got a bit wide there, and that's probably going to compromise this lap. I know there is a bit of room for improvement in the final sector, so I am going to keep pushing on with this one. And we've got John Teeter coming through, so we moved out of the way, but John Teeter had already backed out of it, unfortunately. So yeah, that was it for qualifying, and yeah, that was unfortunate. Yeah, I was, pushing on for my own lap, and yeah, John Teeter just caught up at an awkward time. So anyway, that is good for Jester though, because that gives Jester pole position. John Teeter without the chance to improve, and yeah, we'll bring it around to finish this lap, but we're not going to, of course, make any improvements after that. It's the end of the session. I think just about everyone has set their the best times they're going to, and yeah, that is qualifying done. Jester takes pole position ahead of John Teeter, Banana Notto third ahead of Sparrow, J-Dog, myself, and of course Ferbs, not setting a time as he almost always never does. But yeah, that is how we qualify. The thing with these rounds is because there's only 7 of us, just making it to the end of the race will net a decent haul of points. So there's always something to fight for, even if the pace isn't there. As for us here, it clearly is not. If we just make it through the race, get to the end, we'll get some decent points, and can focus on the next round after that, and hopefully have a better run there. But yeah, we're going to start on the hard tyres, get this compound out the way early, because they are near on undrivable around this circuit. So we're ready to go racing here at the Streets of Willow Springs. Let's take a little look at the starting grid. All 3 tyres required for this one. Jester starts on the soft compound tyres from pole position. Don't get confused by the Superflow. That's not Sparrow in that car. Second place for John Teeter, starting on the medium compound tyres. And then starting out of P3, it is Banana Notto on the hards. So all 3 tyre compounds across the top 3 cars in this race. Then it's Sparrow starting out of P4. Sparrow starting on the medium compound. And then starting out of P5, it is J-Dog driving the Dodge Super B, the first time that car has appeared on the soft compound tyres. Myself on the hards, and then Ferbs rounding off the grid on the medium compound tyres. So that's how we all line up as we get ready to go racing here at the Streets of Willow Springs. It's lights out and away we go, and it's a very densely packed starting grid here, and I just backed way out of it on the way into the first corner. I didn't want anything to do with all this that's going on as J-Dog chops across, and we just about managed to biff and barge our way through, a bit off the road, but we survive without damage, which is of course back on heavy for this race. Completely understeer off the road there. That's just the hard tyres covered in sand and absolutely no grip as we head into that right-hander, and we've dropped way off the back of the pack now. But that was a chaotic start. We're going to need to have a little review of that, but we need to first survive this left-hander here. We just about keep it on. We almost understeered off the road, and we almost do it again twice in the same corner, but we got away with it, and we'll carry on and manage to keep it on the road. But that was very, very awkward as we see the little battle going on here. That is J-Dog trying to squeeze down the inside of Sparrow, and J-Dog gets through and makes that move stick as we see Banana Notto come into the pit lane, and we'll follow Banana Notto into the pit lane as well, and get a new set of tyres on. We'll move on to the mediums for the second stint. We'll get the rubbish compounds out of the way early in this race. Here's a replay though of the start, and we'll see exactly what happened here. It was Sparrow who went deep, barged Banana Notto out the way, and then Banana Notto came back and contact with a few of us there, maybe a bit with Ferbs, definitely with J-Dog and myself as well. So a bit of a chain reaction of events there, kick-started by Sparrow going deep into the first corner. Here's the on-board with John Teeter to see a better view of how all that played out, as Sparrow was down the inside super deep, very close to wiping out Teeter in that as well. And then the rest is a bit obscured by the dust there, so we'll go on board with Ferbs to see if we can get a better view from the back of the grid, as Ferbs was around the outside of us. We were backing out of that, and Ferbs was able to sneak through down the inside and move all the way up into third position through that sequence, as Sparrow's way out of shape there. So that was a great move by Ferbs. That's what I was trying to do, as everyone was going deep into the first corner. Here's the onboard with Banana and Otto, as Sparrow was charging down the inside, and then yeah, contact with J-Dog and myself there, and then the dust clouding the rest. But yeah, that was messy, a bit messy from all of us there, as it was very hard to sort of pick where everyone was and where everyone was going. There was a lot going on, so a bit of clumsy contact was made. Jester ended up a little bit wide during the first lap as well, but held on to it and carries on in the race lead. But yeah, chaotic start here at the Streets of Willow Springs, and yeah, that is what the field looked like halfway through the first lap, as we dropped way off the back after that little off-road moment. And yeah, that is how close we got to sending it off the road on the first lap. But we got away with it, and we carry on once more. So yeah, that was an interesting opening sequence. But anyway, let's see, we've got Banana and Otto into the lane now, and cycling through. That was Banana and Otto pitting at the end of the first lap, and moving on to the soft compound tyres. We move on to the mediums and carry on once more, and yeah, these will carry us for the next few laps. We're not going to box straight away to get rid of these. We're going to extend this stint slightly, just so we can get to the end on one more stop after the next one. So we'll do 2 soft tyre stints rather than stopping now. And if we stop now on this lap, we'd have to do 3 stints on soft tyres, and that's just an unnecessary extra pit stop. But anyway, John Teeter brings it in to the pit lane, and that's going to be the hard tyres going on for John Teeter. So they will last a grand total of 1 lap before Teeter brings it in again, and it'll be the softs going on for Teeter, and I presume we'll be using that compound for the rest of the race. Might need a new set of tyres before then, though. We're very early in this one. Also worth mentioning, Teeter is in the Shelby GT350. First time we've seen that this season since the regulations allowed it back in, and that's a big moment for J-Dog, and Sparrow gets through, and that Super B proving a little bit tough to handle for J-Dog. So yeah, the first appearance for that car not going great so far, unfortunately, for the Super B, and Banana and Otto will be catching up shortly, as well as we go a little bit off-road there. We're getting blue flagged already in this race as Jester goes through, and it's quite a difficult circuit to manage the blue flags around here because it is so narrow. We basically have to go off the road, or if we're very lucky we can pull off on a straight, but there's really only 2 straights here. And at that point I just decided to come into the pits because there would inevitably be more cars coming soon. But we are at the point now where we can fill up here and then make it to the end on 1 more stop. The Chevy Nova, its big weakness is that the fuel economy is absolutely terrible. So yeah, that is the limitation to our stints, more so than the tyres. But anyway, we come out of pit lane, and yeah, we are going to be down in last position probably for the rest of this race, unless J-Dog continues to keep this up, as that's another moment there for J-Dog, and has lost out to Banana and Otto as well. So J-Dog down another position in this race, and that Super B continuing to look quite troublesome as J-Dog continues to wrestle with that car. But anyway, Sparrow drops it off the top of the banking there, and that allows Banana Notto through. And it's an unfortunate moment for Sparrow, and J-Dog's off as well. And wow, that's a 2-for-1 deal on sandy tyres at the bank corner there. This is lap 9 of the race, proving difficult for 2 of the drivers here at that corner. And as luck would have it, we'd find ourselves off the road there as well, and we'd actually make the barrier. So it only gets worse, and that's actually damaged the car, which is very unfortunate. I've been really proud of myself not damaging the car for quite a while in Trans Am. I think the last time I would have damaged a car was probably Tokyo last season. I don't think I've damaged it this season, even at Daytona, where things got a bit crazy a few times throughout that race. But yeah, even Le Mans, I don't think I damaged the car at the end of last season. But here at the Streets of Willow, just completely missed the braking point into the sweeper and had no chance of stopping before I made contact with that barrier. So we're going to just push on with it. The damage isn't actually that bad, and to be honest, at the time I didn't even notice it. It's only looking now that I noticed that the indicator in the bottom left was flashing, but at the time I thought the contact with the wall was relatively light, and the idea of damage didn't really cross my mind. But anyway, there's the replay, just straight off into the wall, missed the braking point, and that was the result. Not much more to it than that. And yeah, we carry on, and we'll push on in this race. But yeah, that was definitely an unfortunate moment, and as always, we almost understeer off the road at that corner. It's so easy to do, and I'm sure that won't be the last time we see a car off there. But anyway, we've got John Teeter on the back of Sparrow here, and John Teeter gets through as Sparrow serves a penalty there, and that's John Teeter up another position ahead of Sparrow. As we continue on, we have a big off there, and once again we come a cropper at that corner, which is, yeah, just proving very difficult. It's a track that requires a lot of concentration, and when you let that concentration slip for just a moment, you have more of this happening with J-Dog off the road again. So we're in a competition here with J-Dog to see who can send it off the road in more spectacular fashion at the moment. And yeah, J-Dog is also struggling in this race for general pace and with a lot of mistakes, as J-Dog comes in to the sweeper and off the road again for J-Dog. So yeah, it doesn't get any better for us here at the back of the field. This track is going to be a real struggle throughout this race. But anyway, J-Dog carries on, bit of a drift there out of the right-hander, and flicks it off the road again. So yeah, J-Dog just watching there as Jester goes through. Can hear the Charger snarling there as it races on through. J-Dog drifting it and kicking up the dust at the final corner as he continues to race on, providing the entertainment in this race, as everyone else on track is pretty well spread out at the moment. So J-Dog is providing a bit of a smoke show for the crowd, as the race itself is just playing out at the moment. But everyone on position-wise is just holding station right now as J-Dog heads up towards that sweeper once again. And the real trick with this corner is that it tightens up a lot more than what you ever expect. So it feels like you're going to make the corner, and the next thing you know, you're a mile off the road. And yeah, that's caught out a couple of us already in this race, as J-Dog sends it off the road up into the air, and way out of control there, and another big jump sideways, and eventually parks it up. And at that point, J-Dog retired the car, and that was the end of J-Dog's race. Sparrow off the road, just up ahead. We'll get past, but we immediately get the blue flags. Look back to see he's there. We tried to give him some room, but we ended up sending ourselves completely off the road. And we'll get back on, get moving again, but that momentary distraction looking back turned slightly to the left, and that sent us straight off as the next corner was very much right, but just that momentary distraction was enough to send us off the road. And yeah, just losing that awareness of where we were on the track. Ferbs into the pits for a set of hard compound tyres, and comes out now down in 4th position, but running strong in this race, as we also see Sparrow coming through around the final few corners and heading off into pit lane as well. And Sparrow too will be moving on to the hard compound tyres at this point in the race. So yeah, for those who didn't start on the hards, it is around that time to get them out of the way, as we see Jester come into the pit lane, and will be a set of hards going on for Jester as well, as Jester comes out still in the race lead on the hard compound tyres, so that'll likely be a 1-lap stint, no fuel going in on that occasion as well for Jester, as we have another clumsy little off there, as we just about managed to get back on circuit, but it's a very visual demonstration of how much the ground banks away once you get off circuit. Meanwhile, Ferbs comes into the pit lane for another pit stop, and it's now the soft tyres going on for Ferbs for the rest of the race, as we look now to Sparrow, who's in again for soft tyres now for the rest of the race. And we finally look back to Jester, a flurry of pit stops around this time, and Jester will be going on now to the medium compound tyres, gets going once more, and still has dropped into 3rd position, and then another pit stop for Jester to eventually get back onto the soft tyres. So yeah, that is an extra pit stop, but you get the soft tyres for the rest of the race as opposed to the mediums, so interesting strategy there for Jester, as Tita was also into the pits there, and it was another set of softs going on for Tita. We're into the pits now, and it'll be our 2nd set of soft tyres for the race, and yeah, these will take us to the end, and we'll be able to short fill this stint, because we're a number of laps behind in this race, so we don't need to fill up all the way to the end. We'll fix that bit of damage we got, and then we'll carry on once more in this race. Still down in now 6th position, with J-Dog retiring from the race, and that's why we always push on to the end. You never know when someone is going to drop out, and that'll be a couple of extra points in the championship for myself. But yeah, it's proven a very tough race so far. We're getting constant blue flags. We're having enough trouble keeping it on the track to begin with, as Banana Nosso comes into the pit lane, and it will be a set of medium tyres going on for Banana Nosso, and a refuel there, so Banana Nosso perhaps going to the end of the race on that compound, as Banana Nosso comes out. Race lead now for the Banana Man, so that's very interesting to see how that's played out. So Banana Nosso going to the end on the medium tyres, with John Tita right behind on the softs. This is a very tricky circuit to overtake, so this could be a good strategy here for Banana Nosso, because to be able to actually make the overtake here, even with better tyres, might be pretty tricky to do. It might take a mistake from Banana Nosso to be able to get through, so we'll see how this battle plays out. John Tita, though, you can see already definitely has the pace advantage over Banananotto and is just waiting for that opportunity, looking high and low. But at the moment, Banananotto is doing a great job to defend the inside lines and hold on to the position. And this might bring some others into the fray as well, as Banananotto is certainly not taking the optimal lines. John Teeter sends it in around the outside, but there's not enough grip out there to get the move done. Banananotto holds on, and John Teeter has to slot in again behind. But that was a false head maneuver, just barely kept it on the road for John Teeter. But Banananotto continues to hold the lead and maintain that first place. But how much longer can this last on those medium compound tyres, with Teeter charging on the softs behind? But like I said, very tricky track to make an overtake, so who knows, Banananotto might be able to do this, but it's going to be a mission, as John Teeter is still right there behind into the sweeper. Banananotto runs it around the inside line. John Teeter following suit. Banananotto out a little bit wider on the exit. John Teeter looking for a switchback at every possible corner, and now there might be an opportunity, not quite, but always looking, always trying to get the nose in, and now maybe there's an opportunity. Good switchback for John Teeter. They're side by side into this long sweeping right-hander, and John Teeter moves all the way around the outside. Banananotto just about squeezes him off the track, but they still run side by side, and John Teeter takes the lead, and John Teeter moves up into first place. Great move. Took a few corners to construct that one, but John Teeter's up into first position. Banananotto back down into second, and John Teeter now has clear view ahead once more. But that was not an easy move to make, despite having the tyre advantage. That did not come too easily, and as the race continues on, Jester now catches up to Banananotto as they now race on through the first sector. And Jester looking racy here, might be able to get the move done pretty soon. Banananotto leaves it a bit high and wide, and Jester gets through, moves up into second position, and now can try to chase down John Teeter. But at the moment there's a bit of a gap there, as Sparrow now comes into the pit lane again. This just for tyres, no fuel going on for Sparrow this time, but needed a fresh set of tyres to go to the end. We've seen that Camaro moving around a lot on the track, wearing out its tyres a bit too much perhaps, as he comes out right in front of Jester. That got a little bit awkward there, but I don't think that would have cost Jester too much time as they carry on in this race. And meanwhile, back on board with myself, Banananotto goes through as we're getting the blue flag. There goes Ferbs as well, so Ferbs is actually catching up quite quickly to Banananotto for the final place on the podium. So that might be the battle to watch for the rest of the race. We've picked up a penalty in the meantime as well. I think that was for just cutting one of the corners in the first sector a little bit too much. Not really going to impact our race, but here's the battle we need to see, as Ferbs is right on the back of Banananotto, and these two are about to scrap it out for the final place on the podium. Teeter and Jester are pretty settled into their positions, and they've got a bit of an air gap either way around them, so it is all on for third position here between Banananotto and Ferbs. Banananotto on those medium tyres, struggling for pace a little bit, using all the road and a bit of the sand to maintain the position, as Ferbs is trying to construct the move, but nothing really doing yet, as there's only a couple of laps left to go in this race, and this fight is about to get very, very spicy. Onto the main straight they come. Ferbs not able to get a run. Even if you can get a run there, it's such a short distance down to the first corner that it's very difficult to actually pull alongside and make an overtake because there's just so little time to be able to do it. And yeah, you're really looking through the more technical sections to be able to maybe get a switchback or something there, but it's very difficult to actually look for an overtake here as Banana Notto goes very deep. Ferbs looking to the inside. Is there enough grip down there for Ferbs to get the run as they continue to fight side by side? Banana Notto holds on for now, but Ferbs still has the nose in on the inside, and Banana Notto squeezing him down to the apex, manages to maintain the position as Ferbs backs out of it, and will live to fight another day. But these two are really fighting for this third position, the final place on the podium. Banana Notto has finished on the podium in every round so far this season. Will that trend continue, or will Ferbs be able to break it as they come around to complete yet another lap in this one, as Banana Notto is still managing to hold on to that third place, and again, Ferbs not able to get any kind of run towards the first corner. It's really the corners where the soft tyres will help, not so much on the straights. And Banana Notto's doing a good enough job out of the final corner so that Ferbs can't get the run with the better traction on those soft compound tyres. But as they continue to fight, bit of contact, a big wobble there, and off the road in a big way goes Banana Notto, soaring through the sky and into the barrier goes Banana Notto. Ferbs pulls up, and Banana Notto reverses back onto the track. Another little jump there, spins around, almost collects Ferbs with the spin there in reverse, and they both carry on racing once again. Banana Notto will maintain third position ahead of Ferbs in fourth. Good sportsmanship there by Ferbs to stop and wait and continue this battle. Here's the onboard with Ferbs, and Banana Notto was already losing it. Off in a huge way, big jump straight into the barrier, whacked that wall way harder than we did. Ferbs pulls it up and then actually reverses a little bit, and lucky he did, because that would have been definitely a minor collision there as Banana Notto came back on circuit. And they carry on once more. So yeah, that was thankfully contained within those two positions. They didn't lose out to anyone else through this. Sparrow not close enough to close in. Here's the onboard with Banana Notto. That was a wild ride, and straight into the barrier at quite significant speed, and then reverses back onto the circuit to carry on once more. And yeah, they'll battle on to the end. Here's the onboard driver's eye view with Ferbs. I don't know how closely this resembles the VR, but you can't even see Banana Notto out there until he eventually jumps back onto circuit and almost backs into the front left corner of the Ferbs mobile. But they carry on once more, and Banana Notto continues to hold third ahead of Ferbs, and they will fight on for the rest of this race. So yeah, here's one final replay, just a different angle, soaring through the air. The air time there was quite impressive, and then yeah, backs it up, and again a little bit of air time there, a bit obscured by the Ferbs car from that angle. But anyway, back to the battle as Banana Notto is going to fight on with a bit of a wounded car in this one. Front bar is damaged along with the front left corner of that car, but still it's good enough to continue driving, and might still be enough to hold off Ferbs, who might just give him a little bit more space after that moment. That was quite sketchy for both of them, but yeah, we'll see as they continue on to the final lap of the race now, and there's not long to go for Banana Notto to try and bring home this podium. Was a lucky escape not to end up with more damage from that moment, but it looks like it's alright and good enough to continue racing, continue to be competitive in this race, as they head up towards that very same corner where it all went wrong a short time ago. But around the final corner now, we look to John Teeter, who's going to make it 2 from 2 in this doubleheader. It's another race win for John Teeter. The 4th round of the championship goes to him. Second place for Jester, with Sparrow not far behind, just going a lap down in 5th position. And then the fight for third. Banana Notto is going to hold on to third position unless something changes in the final few corners. But it looks like there's enough of a gap there for Banana Notto not to have to worry too much, as long as there's no mistakes in the last few hundred meters to come around the final sweep and out onto the main straight. Drifting it there for Banana Notto. And he throws it across the line, flicks it sideways. Ferbs joins in as well as the dust obscures the view. P3 for Banana Notto, P4 for Ferbs, P5 for Sparrow, we saw him cross the line earlier, and will 360 it across the line, and eventually will come across in 6th position with just a couple of seconds to spare. Goodness me. That was a pretty tough race. We were 4 laps down in the end, given all the time we spent off the road, the extra time in pits due to the fuel economy of this car, and all the blue flags we had to serve. It's probably not too bad, to be honest, especially with the blue flags, many of which I did not show because we only have a finite amount of time in the universe. But yeah, that is the end result of the race. Race win for John Teeter, 2nd place for Jester, but pole position and the fastest lap means he gets 32 points out of this race. Banana Notto 3rd ahead of Ferbs, Sparrow, and myself rounding out the finishes, with J-Dog not making it to the end, but we'll still credit the points regardless for making the start. We actually picked up a penalty at the end there as well, but yeah, you can see by the lap times we just really struggled for general pace in that one, and yeah, that's really about all there was to it for us. But anyway, let's take a little look at the championship standings after that race. Alrighty, so here are the championship standings after the first 4 rounds of the series. 121 points for both John Teeter and Banana Notto. John Teeter only ahead on countback, having the race win and the pole position for the biggest points total of 34 out of the 2 of them at Watkins Glen, and then Banana Notto in 2nd on the same points. Jester just 10 points behind on 111, and then a bit further back it's Ferbs on 97 points. Then it's myself on 90 points, Sparrow on 88, J-Dog on 86, and then further back the 2 who did not show up for this pair of rounds, Artsy and Ash, on 56 and 40 points respectively. So it's been a tough start to the season for them, but given that we drop 4 rounds, they will be able to make up for it later on, as long as they show up to enough rounds in the future. But anyway, that is going to do it for this one, so I will say thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. I really do appreciate it. Please feel free to give me some feedback in the comments. It is always very helpful. And other than that, I will see you in the next one, and goodbye.